Morning, everybody. Thanks for joining me as we take a look at your forecast for the work week for October 23rd through the 27th. And things looking sort of been the pattern we've been in lately here, where we've had really tough weekend weather, although yesterday wasn't nearly as bad. Saturdays in particular have been bad. Coaching my son's fifth, sixth soccer team, and it seems like every weekend we get rained out. But anyways, that's been rough, but work weeks have been basically nice, and this will be no different. Does look like better chance for better weather next weekend than we've had Saturday. There definitely is some chances of more of a chance for rain next weekend than there is during the week here, but it looks like no big organized all-day rain events, and maybe not on the rain. Anyways, that's a little too far out. This forecast is not going to focus on that. Anything beyond 4 or 5 days starts to get a little bit still iffy, so I don't want to give you too many. Get too far out there, but I know that's just sort of the way the weather has been going. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on currently across the country. Here is our storm that came through on Saturday, and then we got the wraparound effects of yesterday. That's where the clouds and a few sprinkles associated with that, and that is continuing to pull away. There is still a little bit of moisture associated with a few sprinkles in eastern New England, although here in southern Vermont and northern Vermont as well has some sprinkles, but I think we're going to basically avoid those for the rest of today. We'll still have a decent amount of clouds around, especially this morning, but they are going to be pulling out, and then we have some dry weather to our west. And what's happening here is there's an area of high pressure. You can kind of see it as this area of clear weather to our south and to our south, basically across the mid-Atlantic. That's going to move offshore and actually kind of give us what we would think of as kind of a summertime setup with a Bermuda high, and that is going to allow some warmer air from the south to move in this week. So not only is it going to be dry this week, but we're going to be by the end of the week, especially well above average for this time of year. It's not going to be summertime warmth because we're down to we're basically almost the end of October now. So obviously we're not going to get quite the same warmth that you would get, but we're going to get some temperatures well up into the 60s. It's going to be nice at the end of this week. Let's take a look at radar. One thing that you would notice, we definitely have some storms here across the central part of the country, and you kind of say, is this going to translate east and give us continued unsettled weather in the next day or two by the time this gets here. But what's going to happen here is this high pressure system here and a ridge across the east in the upper levels of the atmosphere is going to push everything to our north, and essentially everything's going to ride up and north of us for the most part. There's going to be enough of clouds left over with this that it will keep us having some kind of a mix of sun and clouds for most of the week. So we're not going to have full sun days. And particularly Thursday into Friday, I think not this system, but this system back here, which is going to basically do the same thing. We'll want to swing north of us, but spill some clouds over into our area. But it looks right now like any sprinkles associated with that are going to be confined to far northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and then any of the steady rain from it is up in Quebec. So I think for right now, we are going to avoid any moisture at all that makes it to the ground, but some clouds are definitely associated with this. So that could mean that even though we have a decent amount of sun, still have some clouds mixed in with that this week as we go through. I want to kind of give you, here's an idea of kind of what's going to happen by midweek. That high pressure system, which is now currently kind of located and not that strong over the Virginias, Virginia, West Virginia, is going to head east and again be kind of southeast of Cape Cod, significantly southeast of Cape Cod, and that's going to allow for you get clockwise airflow around high pressure system. And so of course clockwise airflow when this low pressure is to our south and east means that we're getting our airflow is coming from the south and the west, which is of course a warm direction. Also during the summer, this would bring a lot of humidity with it as well. Dew points will come up, but it's not going to be warm enough to really feel like it's hot and humid, thankfully. But this time of year, this means really pleasant weather for us for the end of next week. So let's take a quick look at what that actually means in terms of forecast. Today and tomorrow, the high pressure system is kind of due south of us, which means our flow is from the west, and the departing storm is kind of northwest. So temperatures are cooler today and tomorrow. This is pretty average for this time of year. Today's maybe a touch below average with temperatures in the low 50s. Tomorrow we're up at kind of the mid to upper 50s. That's pretty average for this time of year. But by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're quite a bit above average. And depending on how much sun we get will depend on how warm we actually get on these days. But mid to upper 60s for all the days. Definitely valley locations. Route 7, if you're down from Manchester down to Bennington, even up to Rutland, chances to get to 70 definitely. And the Connecticut River Valley, chances to get to 70, I would say, as well. So and even if we end up with more sun than it looks like we will right now, even some of the even places like where I am in South Londonderry, up in the mountains, has a chance to get close to 70 by the end of the week. So temperatures overnight trend upward as well, certainly. And by Friday, some of those clouds overnight Thursday into Friday, where that's probably our best chance of any clouds. There's a very outsized chance at a sprinkle on Thursday as one of the systems that goes to our north comes closest to us. But I think right now it looks like that's going to stay north of us. But the clouds will affect us. That'll help hold temperatures way up for this time of year. Overnight lows are probably averaging in the mid 30s this time of year. We'll be close to 50 for the overnight low. So 15 degrees above average for your low and probably 10 to 15 degrees above average for your high. So there you go. Nice weather for this week. Nice warm week for us here. Late fall week. Let's take a quick look at those work week highlights. Nice week after all the rain this weekend. Thankfully, the rain, as much as there was, didn't really cause any. The rivers came way up, but they did not go over their banks, thankfully. But yeah, I got over 3 inches of rain this weekend at my house. So yeah. Temperatures trend well above average by the end of the week. Mix of sun and clouds, with more clouds Thursday and Friday, and not full sun any day, certainly. But dry all week, with the exception of maybe a sprinkle, like I said, Thursday into Friday. But I would say that's probably less likely than likely to happen. And next week, weekend's weather looks better than the past few weekends. I wouldn't rule out a chance at the storm that comes, the kind of the third wave of storm that comes, may actually kind of push a front through over the weekend, which might give us a chance for a brief kind of period of rain or some shower and kind of not thunderstorm, but that kind of activity. But that looks like it would be moving right along, so it wouldn't be an all-day kind of event, and that is definitely still not locked in. So you should definitely come back and check out the weekend forecast on Friday, because I'll have much more in the way of details, and we'll have cleared up a lot of what's going to happen over the weekend. But yeah, so nice week. Try to get out there and enjoy it. There's still a little bit of color in the leaves, although at the higher elevations up where I am, we've lost most of our leaves, but you still got some past peak color. And certainly if you head down in elevation into the valleys here, there's still some pretty good color. So still chances to enjoy that as we head towards the end of October. All right. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel before, I'd encourage you to do so. It helps make sure you don't miss any of my videos. And I want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. They're a really big help in terms of some of the subscriptions and things like that. And there's some advantages you get to being a patron, some things by supporting the channel financially. And I will, there's a link in the description below that tells you about those things. All right. I will be back on Friday with a look at your weekend forecast.